I understand the post office receives thousands of these letters every year.
I have further exhibits, Your Honor, but I hesitate to produce them.
Oh, I'm sure we'll be very happy to see them.
Yes. Produce them, Mr. Gailey. Put them here on my desk.
But, Your Honor...
Put them here on the desk. Put them...
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, every one of these letters is addressed to Santa Claus. The post office has delivered them. Therefore, the Post Office Department, a branch of the federal government, recognizes this man, Kris Kringle, to be the one and only Santa Claus.
Since the United States government declares this man to be Santa Claus, this court will not dispute it. Case dismissed.
I've got to get that football helmet.
Thank you so much, Your Honor, and a very Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kringle, and the same to you.
Thank you.
What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. I want to thank all of you for showing up, supporting us here at the channel. The march to 500 subscribers continues. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Do all that beautiful YouTube stuff down below. Only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. Today we're going to be doing another little holiday review. Holiday movie review, if you will. That will go into the Retro Blast playlist. And this particular movie we're going to be talking about is Miracle on 34th Street. Now, there's two versions of this movie. I'm going to be talking about the original that was released May 2nd, 1947. Starring Edmund Green as Kris Kringle, Maureen O'Hara as Doris Walker, John Payne as Fred Gallery, Gene Lockhart as Judge Henry Harper, and Natalie Wood as Susan Walker, the daughter of Maureen O'Hara's character, Doris. Now, as a child, we always tried to think and figure out ways to prove that Santa Claus was real. That he's a real person, and we would always try to catch him as kids, coming down the chimney, leaving gifts, or eating the cookies and drinking the milk that we'd leave out for him. But we were never able to prove that Santa Claus really existed. And that's the premise of this particular movie. Kris Kringle was hired by Doris Walker to play Santa Claus for a store by the name of Macy's. Now, for those of you who may not know what a Macy's store is, it was a pretty popular store for many, many, many decades that sold like some pretty decent clothes and stuff like that. It was a little pricey. Many of you, if you know Sears, if you know Macy's, you may know Sears. Similar store. But every year, the Macy's would put on like the Thanksgiving Day parade. They would do their storefronts of decorations and stuff, and of course have Santa Claus, Kris Kringle, come by during the holiday season, so all the little boys and girls can tell them what they want for Christmas, of course. But this particular year, the person they hired really took it above and beyond, with stating that he's Kris Kringle, and basically created such a hubbub that it ended up going to court, to be honest. Right? Imagine Susan, the little girl Susan, is one of the very few, if not the only one, that believes in him for such a long time. Because the little kids, man, they're hoping they get to meet Santa, right? And here you have someone who looks like Santa, is claiming to be Santa. Man, you might let your little kid imagination run away with you for sure. And it ended up, like I said, going to court to prove if Santa Claus was real. And of course, a lot of people thought that there's a lot of different opinions. This is a waste of time. People thought it was wholesome and was like maybe rooting for Santa. Others just, like I said, found this whole thing ridiculous and a waste of taxpayers' hard-earned money. And near the end of the movie, as people kept trying to doubt Kris Kringle here as being the real Santa, the lawyer decides to pull a play, a Hail Mary, if you will, and involved the post office and sacks of mail that were addressed to Kris Kringle, Santa Claus. And with that little thing, basically the government confirming that he exists. So that must mean that this whole court proceeding is nonsense and it should be done. And that's kind of what happens in that sense. Santa Claus winds up proving that he's Santa Claus, and everybody has a happy, heartwarming ending. And I particularly like this movie because it just really, like the other movies that you come across during this time, it's sometimes adults forgetting what Christmas is about, or the whole family is trying to get together, uh, to celebrate the holidays after some sort of, breakup of the family or something like that. This particular movie was just the innocence of a little girl and her trust in that this is Santa, and her willingness to go the extra mile to help him prove that. And despite her mother, the government, the courts, or everyone telling her and telling people who would believe the story that this is silly, she stuck by his side. And I think that childhood wonderment can still be tapped in by most of us today. And that's why I think that this movie is very wholesome. Um, the rendition that came out in the 90s was also just as wholesome. And the young actress who played Natalie Wood's character, she was also Matilda, which is another classic movie there. But yeah, so Miracle on 34th Street was basically trying to prove that Santa Claus really did exist. We celebrate Christmas. We take all these past urban legends of St. Nicholas, Father Christmas, Kris Kringle. We mix it all together, and we got the Santa Claus that's on the Coke cans, on dozens of merchandising products today. We gathered all that to make the Santa Claus that we know today. And yes, maybe Santa Claus doesn't exist um, in the way that he's portrayed in the media, but I think that the spirit of St. Nicholas, of Christmas, can be felt by everybody, even if Yeah, been a Grinch for many years. That's my particular opinion and thoughts about this movie by the name of Miracle on 34th Street. I hope that you have your own miracle this holiday season. And remember, don't make Santa have to check the list twice. But I digress. Until next time, peace, Snookums.